Hi, this is Neil from Pro Tools Expert, and today I am taking a look at Toontracks EzKeys. I'm going to be taking a look at the main EzKeys plugin itself and also the first expansion library for EzKeys, which is the upright piano. So that's just another sound set you can buy for EzKeys. Now, this is a piano plugin, but with a difference. It has a very nicely sampled grand piano, as you would expect, which I can play there. And it's surprisingly good sound quality for the actual size of the library. It's actually very small in file size, but a lovely sounding piano. So I'm going to start off just by going through some of the sounds and also taking a look at the upright piano library there. And then I'll go on to some of the more advanced features and what kind of stands this plugin apart from any normal piano plugin library. So to start with, I've obviously just played you a little bit of the library itself, and it's very articulate. So it's really nice sounding, and that's just the sound as you boot up the first run of the piano. Then there's some presets that tailor the sounds very slightly to different kinds of music styles, so it's quite versatile. So there's a jazz type piano, and ballad, and what you can do with the space, you can hear that reverb tail. Let's just see something a little bit different. Old time boogie, very slightly different tone to it. And when you change these presets, if you look down here, sometimes they become different things. So for example, this Swedish pop one has added chorus, and the speed of the chorus is obviously controllable as well, which is some reverb. So you can actually do quite a lot with the sound, and yeah, depending on what you've selected, different options become available. So with this old time boogie, you can drive it harder, so you get some drive and distortion there. Stage piano. So you can get some quite good dynamic sounds there. Tremolo type sound. So it's much more electric piano kind of sounds. Let's see what. Almost like an upright cowboy and western kind of thing. So this one's got a lot of the attack taken down. A long decay and release. So in all, the sound set is really quite versatile, and I think playing around with these parameters that obviously change depending on your particular patch, you can get a lot of sound out of it, probably more than you'll get out of just a straightforward piano library, so that's really nice addition. And I wonder if they're going to actually release some more presets even. It would certainly be an interesting one. So that's the grand piano library itself. Just a quick note on the actual user interface itself. You've got these two areas here that if you click on, you can adjust the dynamics. So this is basically the high and low note velocity. So you can have a minimum lower note if you want. If you don't want the softest touch, and you can actually recalibrate the softest touch to your particular keyboard. So if you hit that, it asks you to basically play the key as softly as you can, which I'll do there. So that my low note, the softest I personally played it, it was a velocity level of 8. So my minimum level will always be that 8. Just a way to control the dynamics if you're playing maybe a bit better. You can also adjust the velocity curves yourself as well, at the point in which the hard notes come in, which is quite nice. And you can reset that if you go too wayward with it and don't like it, or you can save any presets you make. You can even reverse it so that the notes are always hard to start with, and the harder you play them, the softer they sound, which is quite interesting. So you might get some quite creative sounds out of that, which is a nice addition really. So let's close that. And the tuning as well, you can transpose by octaves. So this note that I play now, I can put that by an octave or another one. So I'm not playing a different key, I'm just transposing, and then you can do it by semitones or cents as well if you want to. So if you've got something that you're playing and maybe you've got a small keyboard that doesn't have an octave shift on it, or if you want to just shift what you're playing by a semitone or some cents, you can do that. You might have noticed as well, when I play a note, the name of the note actually is displayed here. So this is a fantastic learning tool, just to, if like me you're not a piano player and you kind of make it up as you go along, it's a fantastic tool for learning and doing a bit of music theory while you compose, and maybe to get your songs sounding right and being perhaps correct in a musical makeup. Now often, you can make songs so that they sound right, but you might not necessarily know what's going on theoretically, so it's a good way of bearing a resemblance to the music theory. So that's really useful, and that works for notes or chords, which is really good. Great way of learning. And as well, on the bottom here you've got the pedals, so you can set those to learn if you want to, if you've got pedals of your own. That's the damper. Yeah, that dampening. This one is Sustenato, which I believe if you play a chord and then press it, those notes will sustain. Any other notes you play will not sustain, but if you go back to those notes that you've played while it was sustained, they continue to sustain. which is quite nice. And then the third pedal is just proper sustain. So that's can be really useful and quite creative as well. So that's the main interface and the default library. Now I'm going to move on to the expansion library, the upright piano, and just go through some of those presets. So the graphical user interface changes to the style of a upright piano, and again you've got the dynamics and tuning sections there and the same pedals, and you've got a whole new bunch of presets. So just the standard upright piano, so it's not quite as deep but has its own charm. As I said, I'm no great player, so I'm just making it up as I go along, but and again obviously these things are changing. D-tune's quite interesting. You get that kind of honky-tonk kind of cowboy film style with a bit of rough tuning. Britpop compression there as well now. Saloon, I presume, is the cowboy film. Sounds kind of 1920s silent movie. Quite interesting, the phase. More room. So really, another very versatile set of sounds. And with those extra controls, can make massive differences. And I'm so surprised at the quality of the library based on the file size. It really is very good. And what a completely different sound that is, just from the presets. So it's much more electric piano sound. And the filter section. and that filter oscillation is following the tempo of the project. So that is really a nice additional pack there. So I'm going to go back to the original library and just take you through the advanced features of the plugin itself. As well as the piano library itself, it's got a browser and song arrangement section. So if I show you the browser, and there's an included library of preset MIDI chords and runs, riffs, whatever you like to call them, for you to use to construct yourself some songs if you're not a player, and maybe you're learning or you need some inspiration, or you just want to build a song straight out from the MIDI library, much like Easy Drummer. If you're aware of Easy Drummer, you get some grooves and MIDI format just for you to kind of build upon if you're not much of a player yourself, and so EzKeys is very similar. It's grouped into what you get in the main library. There's the EzKeys MIDI and then the music theory examples, so you can actually use the music theory examples as a bit of a training or learning experience, so we'll go into those in a moment. So the core library itself, you have basic chords that are then broken down into sustained chords, which would be just have the chord ringing out like that, and some variations of rolling chords, which would be more like that, so each note rolling on, and then rhythmical chords into sort of time breakdowns, broken up chords, and then chords by genre, or song ideas really by genre, and time signatures, and some variations at the end. So the single chords, as you would expect, let's say sustained chords, as you would expect, it's a single chord, so it takes a moment just to play, but so it's just one chord sustained out, and you can change the actual chord itself, which I'll show you in a minute. So basic chords, not much more to it than that. Rolling chords, as I showed before, they kind of roll like that. There you go. Okay, rhythmical chords. These are half notes. Quarter notes. Eighth notes. Eighth with a swing. And then broken up chords. Just broken into their individual notes and arpeggiated really. They sound good with that kind of root note drone throughout. So, as you can tell, if you're not much of a player, these can be really useful. And I think even just to give you some inspiration and song ideas. So that's the kind of fundamental core components, I guess, and then into some of the styles. So this is pop rock intro. Even gives you the tempo there, but you can make it follow the tempo of your project if you want to, because it's only MIDI. So different intros and suggested verses. So there's a whole load, and I won't go through them all because we'll be here all day, but I think you get the idea of the different styles. So I'll just show you how the arranger works, and basically it's down here. It's like a mini sequencer of sorts with a twist. So if we start back at the single chords, just a basic chord, choose one that you want, and you can drag it down here into the arrangement. When you hit play, it plays the chord, and you can make out the MIDI notation there. You can adjust the length just by grabbing it, dragging it to the length you want. You can grab it from the front or the back. Now you can see that it's actually a C chord. Now if you want to change that and you want to build your song based on a different chord, you can obviously set your key of your song here, and you can go through whether it's major or minor, etc. there. But if you want to change the chord itself, if you click there, you get this interesting arrangement here, which is based on the circle of fifths. And if you are not familiar with music theory as such, it's worth reading the manual because it does a really good explanation of the circle of fifths and why this is the shape it is, and what these what this layout really means. And it's worth going through some of these theory examples. There's actually a good tutorial where these theory examples are used to explain really what the music theory is all about. So it is a really good learning tool, if nothing else. So if you want to change the chord, you just literally click on it. You can audition it just by clicking on it, and you can see there that the note's changing. So if I want that to be C, maybe a short C, and bring down another one. Maybe I want that to be a G. You can see how easy it is to start building up a song. Let's go with a rolling chord here, maybe. What's that? Okay. Pull that down there and maybe make that another C. So already here's my beginnings of a chord progression. And you can just literally drag and drop in to your timeline there and build yourself up a sequence. It's literally that simple. So let's try that. Maybe drop that there. Easy to rearrange things. So it's really straightforward, as you can see. Now you can also color code any of these blocks to build your song, just to give you an idea of your structure. You can shift octaves up and down or transpose, which is really useful. Adjust the velocity if the MIDI itself is playing too hard and you want it a bit softer, or vice versa. So that's really worthwhile. You can look through different patterns here, and maybe you want to change this here but you're not sure what with yet, so you can preview things, and you can actually replace them. So if I now choose to play this back here, and then maybe I want to listen to okay, I like that one more. Hit replace, and it's replaced that part there with the one that I was browsing, which is quite good. So that's that use browser MIDI. So you basically select use browser MIDI and listen to. And then you can hit replace, and it replaces it. Again, there you've got a cut. You can chop them in half if you don't want the whole length, or you can literally drag them out like I showed before. It's a bit fiddly, but there you go. So that's the browser and how to lay out a song. this part of the sequencer there, you can just have it in straight notes or triplets, which is quite nice. You can zoom in or out there and scoot backwards and forwards down the timeline with that one. You have a master volume control here, and this button here to follow the host sequencer, so the timeline playback will follow your sequencer's playback. Likewise with the tempo as well, and you can manually set the tempo, or you can have it follow the host with this. Same with the time signature. It's set the key of the song. Again, if you're not sure about that, then looking at the manual about the explanation of the theory is a worthwhile read. Also with the previewing things, you can half time them and drop them into your project in half time or double time. I think that's pretty much covered there. Obviously it works as standalone or as a VST RTAS audio units plugin. So I really like it, and I think that it would be a really useful addition to anybody that's not a natural piano or keyboard player. I think anybody that just wants to maybe learn a little bit of piano playing or keyboard playing. Naturally, I think a lot of people just program notes by drawing them in, but if you actually want to learn to play or use it to actually do some songwriting, it really is a fantastic product. So yeah, I really like it, and strongly urge you to go and download the demo version and read the manual for it, because it's far more than it would first seem. So I'm very impressed. So that's the Toontrack EzKeys grand piano and the upright piano library expansion. So try them out, go check them out. That's me done. Thanks very much for watching, and hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.